And welcome back to High Stakes MMA. Here to do the recap for UFC Fight Night 28. Big fight night. We had some good fights on the card. Was able to cash in on some of the bets we made on the best bet segments a few days back. So for me myself, finished up with the 8-4-1 record. The Mason Jones fight, who was on my parlay, we ended up getting a push there with Alan Patrick due to the eye poke. But my 3-leg parlay, I had Mason Jones with Roman Dolidze and Tybura. So it did cash for me, even though I did get a push on Jones. My straight bet of the night was Tom Breeze, which also fell out. So that one fell off the card. So we only had a 13 fights on the card tonight. And for my live dog, it was Kamala Kirk plus 185, and that one did smack. Was able to get me some change here and keep me in the game this week. So it was a good night. We will go up the card. See how'd you do?
Yeah, well, Bet Online kind of really fucking me, man. They didn't offer a lot of parlays that I ended up wanting to do. After I seen the weigh-ins, I was really high on Puelas, man. He did look a lot bigger than Levitt, like I was thinking he was going to look. And he went out there and handled business. Just was kind of mad I couldn't get any line on him. I did do a little straight bet on him, which cashed. I did have... My parlay didn't cash. Unfortunately, we just seen Rosenstrike land that last second punch again. Man seems to have done it to me twice already now. And he blew the parlay that I had with Mason Jones, Fior, and the over on that. Yeah, in the Mason Jones fight, unfortunately, he got called for not a disqualification, but a no contest. So that would have bumped any odds we had on the parlay anyways down. So all around, it was just kind of shitty. But the dog of the night, Gregory Rodriguez, for me, he did hit as well. I did do a little inside the distance bet on him, and unfortunately, that didn't hit. A couple spots we missed on. But overall, we had a pretty solid breakdown of the card, I feel like. And man, there was just a few spots I could have did better on, I feel like. But yeah, we'll just go up the card, starting with Puelas and Levitt. Pretty much, man. If you listen to the breakdown on this fight that we did, pretty much called it to a T. Levitt came out a little bit stronger grappler in the first couple minutes, but he seemed to tire pretty quick. And Puelas ended up getting his back at one point in the first round, and ended up with 10 minutes of full control time throughout the whole fight. And got a unanimous decision. And those last 2 and 3 rounds, man, it was all Puelas. He just was the stronger man, fresher man, and Levitt didn't really offer too much for him, man. He just showed that Levitt is still, still trying to find his groove. He's not a lower level fighter. He does have good skills and whatnot, but he just needs more time to develop.
Yeah, he started off really slow, it looked like, and the first round looked good. He got the takedown, but even in the first round, Puelas was transitioning well, and he was getting those rolls, and ended up in like awkward positions to where he was able to escape, and get back to his feet. And then in the second and third round, he really just started to take over. I was high on Levitt going in. That was first fight of the night, first loss of the night for me. The rest of the card went well, but it started off bad for me. I really thought Jordan was going to pull it out. However, Rocky did say, he thought Levitt would win, but if it passes that first round, that he was heavily towards Puelas, and that was even before the weigh-in. So it literally happened just like that. He looked good in the first round, and then as soon as that was over, it was all Puelas after that, and there was no coming back for him. And he looked really slow. He has some work to do. To get back in there, but Puelas looked good after all the time off. So it was exciting to see him
still super
back
young
in there.
too.
Yeah, 25 I think he is. Yeah. So still a lot to show. Next one up was Sean Woodson and Yusuf Zalal. This is another one. I mean, Zalal, he started off strong. He definitely won the first round, and he was catching Woodson on the feet. All over the place, and then as the fight went on, second round, you could kind of see the tide start to turn, and Woodson started to land, and Yusuf just started to fade a little, and it was much of the same in the third round. And I thought it was a close fight, and I wouldn't be shocked either way, no matter how they turned it, because I think that third round was probably could have went either way. but they did go ahead and give Sean the Woodson the win.
Yeah, I only saw the third round on this fight, but from what I seen, it just looked like Woodson was in control the whole time, and Zalal's footwork wasn't doing him any good. I don't know how good it was doing him in that first round. Like you said, I think he did, catch him and whatnot, but overall, Woodson was using his length really good and keeping him out of there, avoiding the takedowns and whatnot. I think Zalal ended up with 2 takedowns total for the fight, but he didn't look like he did anything with them, which we thought might be a possibility if he got that takedown. I thought we might see a more grapple-heavy approach or threaten with more submissions, but in the end, Woodson did go out there and, pretty much get a decision. It was a split decision, matter of fact.
Yeah, it was a split.
I guess it was a...
Could have went either way. That's what I mean. I had Woodson. I thought Woodson won. I picked him going in as well. I thought he was going to be a lot more dominant on the feet, though, than he was. And I was surprised to see how good Zalal was hanging with him in the first round. Maybe it was just the filling out part because he did start to pour it on late. But it was a lot closer fight than I expected it to be.
Yeah, and then the next fight was Manon Fiore versus Tabitha Ricci. And man, I missed this one too as well. So I'll let you take over, bro. But I imagine it was my homegirl just putting the brakes on her.
She put it on her, and you could really see the size difference in the two. Ricci was a lot smaller. I would like to see her back and fighting like someone her size and her weight. I know she was stepping up because it was just a couple days' notice, but she has that jiu-jitsu prowess, but she wasn't able to show it. She was out muscled. She couldn't get in close enough to Fiore to even threaten with the takedown. She was keeping her at bay, and then she had her against the cage and just started welling on her. And Herb jumped in. They probably could have let it go a little bit longer, but nothing good was going to happen to her. So
Mannon's she's
a beast, man.
She's the highest prospect for me, man. I said in the breakdown, I'm a fan of hers. I think the sky's the limits for her. Like I said, it shows like she only is now 7-1. But like I said, she has a combat background before MMA, and she's around 31, 32 years old, so she's like in her prime right now, I feel like. And I don't think any girl sleeping on her it's gonna be bad for her, man. So pretty high on her. Hopefully they give her a step up in competition because she's just gonna blow through any of these lower ranked girls, even like she did with Leonardo in their last fight. So yeah, happy to see her get the dub, and yeah, hopefully we see more of her and at a better competition as well.
Yeah, and the next one up the card is Mason the Dragon Jones taking on Alan Patrick. Like we mentioned while we were watching this, that Aljo just ruined this stuff, man. Everybody's quitting now, and I think he could have continued, but he was getting mauled the whole fight, and it looked to me like he wanted a way out. I don't want to put him down like that, but that's what it looked like to me. He wanted a way out. There was no win for him there. Mason was smashing him. And we were both high on Mason. We had him in a lot of parlays, straight bets, and he did his work, man. 57 total strikes landed for Mason Jones compared to 14 for Alan Patrick through 1.5 rounds. Excuse me. So I mean, it was big. Mason also got the takedowns, and it was pure domination.
Yeah, Patrick did land a few hard shots to Mason, which in the beginning of the round, but. The ones that he was landing, they were solid, but Mason just showed that he has a chin on him, man. So this kid's good. He's really durable. That's probably one of his, best attributes. But yeah, he's a dog as well. And Patrick, he showed that he can go out there and crack a little bit, but man, he was wasting a lot of energy swinging the air. And after that first round, it looked like he just gassed pretty bad. And then Mason just really started putting the beat down on him. And yeah, it was an eye poke, right? It was, and then I don't know if it was even that bad. I didn't even see the replay of it. But yeah, it was called a no contest. I mean, if our parlay would have hit, this would have brought the numbers down, which would have sucked even more, but we didn't even cash the parlay anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And going on the next fight, this was a good one. It was Makwan Amirkhani versus Kamuela Kirk. And this was a good fight as well. But Kamuela, he just ended up putting the gas pedal to this dude and ended up beating the brakes off him in the second and third round. In the first round, Amirkhani looked like he might have something to offer for him, but he has gas tank issues, and it was just super evident on this fight again. So he just needs to go back and shore that up. Without any assurance of his gas tank going forward, he should just probably be an immediate fade of anybody that has a slight chin and a decent striking repertoire. But I just didn't think Kamala had the striking advantage on the feet. But he showed he did, man. He went out there and landed a lot of strikes and whatnot. And yeah, you hit your dog of the play on this one.
Yeah, he was my underdog of the night. He was my live dog. I was heavy on Kirk. I liked what I seen from him in the tape that I've watched, and I don't know if it's so much of that as how much I just really not impressed with Americani and him as well. Outside of catching a submission, he just gasses early. I don't really care for his stand up. And Kirk did good. He stayed composed. He landed the big shots. He really started to put it on him in the second and third round, and he looked really good doing it. He has a kind of a wide stance, and he was able to keep him out with like a lot of push kicks and a lot of leg kicks, and kept him at distance and was able to touch him up enough. There was that when he did get taken down by Americani did nothing with it, and he almost did more damage from the bottom. So it was a good fight, and a big win for Kurt. So yeah, hit the live dog on that one. I'm interested to see him in the future. And then the next one up was Montana De La Rosa taking on Ariane Lipski. This one, talk about domination. I mean, she just kicked her ass from the word go. And I picked Lipski to win in this fight. And she had no chance in hell, man. She was getting dominated. She got split open with the elbows. Montana's looking really good, and her wrestling is looking solid right now.
Yeah, that was pretty much what I figured would happen besides the ground and pound. I really thought she was going to get her out of there with a sub, but that's what happens when you try to get greedy sometimes. I did throw a prop play out there for a submission. I should have just went inside the distance and tried to not get cute about it, but you live and you learn, and yeah, man, De La Rosa did exactly what I thought she was going to do, which was go out there and dominate her on the floor. I just didn't think she was going to get the stoppage via ground and pound. I thought it was going to be a submission, more or less. Lipski's got super flaws when it comes to the takedown defense and just being on the ground and be able to get up, period. She accepts being on the bottom, and yeah, man, I don't even think we'll see her in the UFC after this, to be honest.
Yeah, that's she's been losing quite a bit, and she's been losing decisively. So it's going to be tough. Maybe they give her another shot, but yeah, I mean, I think they're both headed in different directions. The next one, what we had, Trinaldo versus Sokolov. Man, this was a banger. I mean, I had picked this one for fight of the night, even though it has a chance to probably was up until the Ponzinibbio fight happened. But Trinaldo, man, he's tough, man. That dude don't age, and he was coming in throwing bombs. He was obviously slightly smaller, and I thought he did well. And but Sokolov did do enough to keep him away. We both picked Sokolov to win the fight, and he just showed he was a superior striker.
Yeah, Trinaldo held his own as far as on the feet. Sokolov did show that he was the bigger fighter, and at times, he would just catch Trinaldo coming in being sloppy and then just put him on his ass and ride out a few minutes of control time and whatnot. So he ended up getting a pretty easy decision. It wasn't without his hits as well on Trinaldo's side. So total strike count was 51 to 71 strikes, or 51 for Trinaldo and 71 for Sokolov. So it was a back and forth, but Sokolov was able to edge him out and just outpoint him pretty marginally, but not too much to where it was a blowout.
Yeah, he did win 30-27 on all the judges' cards, but it wasn't that big of a gap. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's some 30-27s where
right. I think he won 30-27. I do, but those rounds were close rounds. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't blowouts like you mentioned, because Trinaldo was in the fight until the end, and he was throwing bombs and he was trying to get that victory. So yeah, that was a good one there. What we had next, which was a big disappointment for myself, was Bozer taking on Latifi. Bozer came out doing what he does, just trying to hit you from the outside. But when Latifi, he got that, with that big power, he's a tank. Ended up getting him to the floor, and that's where he kept him.
Yeah, man. When we broke this one down, the only thing that I was pretty much, or I said as well, was just if he got, just one or two takedowns to secure 2 rounds, and I thought that would have been in the first and the second round, but holy shit, this fool got it in the first and the third round. I did not. After the second round, I thought he was pretty much toast, and Bozer was gonna, end up finishing him, but He had him in all sorts of trouble in that second round. And he dropped him at one point. It looked like Herb was going to stop the fight, but he ended up letting it go. And Latifi ended up coming back, and then in the third round he landed that other takedown. And yeah, he had a total control time of 6 minutes and 38 seconds. So that first round was it was boring as shit. It was a split decision.
Yeah.
As well, so it wasn't like it was, a robbery or anything. It was a close fight.
It was a close fight.
But that's what happens when Latifi can grind on you and keep you down if you don't have the skills to get back up.
That's what it was, because, the total strikes, 84 for Boser to 51 for Latifi, but it was those 2 takedowns and all the control time, like you mentioned. He's tough. He's a vet. He knows how to win fights. But Boser, should have finished him when he had the chance, but Latifi he powered through that, man, and got right back up and just kept going. But yeah, I had Boser on a lot of tickets, and that one hurt.
Yeah, next up was Dusko Todorovic versus Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, and I was pretty excited for this fight, but it was a good fight. It just didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be. Dusko showed that he did have a chin on him. It wasn't in question. It just showed that Puna has a hell of a punch and a lot of power. So Rodriguez did come in here. He played it smart. He got his takedowns when he needed to, and ultimately outstruck him 73-46, and looked good doing it, man. He was super strong in there, and Dusko was trying to be sneaky and whatnot, but Gregory showed he did improve on his defense a little bit. On the flip side for Dusko, he didn't show any improvements. He just showed that he keeps his hands down and he just blocks punches with his face, and that's his style. Don't know how long he'll last doing that, but glad to see that we had the read right and cashed on Gregory as the dog.
Yeah. You were big on Rodriguez this whole week. You've been talking about Rodriguez and how you was most excited for this fight, and he was a dog, and that ended up working for you. I was on the other way. I was taking Dusko on this fight, and man, Rodriguez really came in and just controlled the entire fight. Dusko kind of came on in the third, but still Rodriguez just had this thing in control the whole time, and he had three out of 5 takedowns. Dusko just was not strong enough to get this man to the floor. This dude is a big guy, for big middleweight, and Dusko's a small one, So it was good. A good fight though, overall, especially in like the second and third round when they started to heat up. But Rodriguez is special, man. I haven't seen too much of him. You've actually schooled me on Rodriguez a lot, and the more I see of him, the more I like. So yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing him in the future in some different matchups.
Yeah, I really don't think he's how old they say he is, because I don't believe that man's in his 20s.
29 going on 40.
All right, next up we have Ponzinibbio versus Miguel Baeza. And man, this was like fight of the night for sure. But up there with the Archie Long fight and Jeff Molina fight, this was, up there, man. This was a great fight. It was back and forth. In the beginning, Baeza did drop him, had him in all sorts of trouble in that first round with low kicks. It looked like at one point Ponzinibbio was slipping a lot. I didn't know if that was from the cage or his leg giving out from the leg kicks. Couldn't really tell too much, but man, that second and third round, Ponzinibbio the dog came out in that, man, and he was showing it. Baeza did slow down a little bit, and that was all Ponzinibbio needed and to get on his level and outstrike him. He was the smaller man. Baeza is super long, and it was hard at times, but once that second round, third round came, Ponzinibbio just looked like he flipped a switch, and kind of was like that Ponzinibbio of old almost, and went out there and got into a dogfight and took it home and gave this young cat his first loss. Yeah,
that was the dog we was hoping to see. Ponzinibbio, like you mentioned, he looked like the Ponzinibbio of old. He came in, first round he was getting his legs kicked out of him, but second and third he had that killer instinct, and he was throwing caution to the wind. He was going out there to get that win. The shows Baez 44 landed leg kicks. I wonder if how much of those was in the first round, because you can tell instantly, that Ponzinibbio's legs was getting taken from up underneath him. He couldn't step right. That he was sliding all over the place, and but second and third, that's when he started landing those headshots. And I don't know if it was Baez just starting to wear, or Ponzinibbio just turning up the heat. But 98 landed head strikes in that fight for Ponzinibbio. That's a lot, man. You get, and those were bombs.
Yeah.
Those weren't just little jabs or pitter pat punches. Those were bombs from Ponzinibbio. But that kid has a bright future. He stood in there and he banged, and he was undefeated for a reason. So, and he's fighting one of the top dudes in the division. So I don't think he really loses much stock in this fight. And it's good Ponzinibbio won to get him back on track.
For sure. The next fight was Roman Dolidze versus Staropoli. Man, this one was just terrible. I was hoping Staropoli was just going to starch this dude for the way he was fighting. I mean, as a bettor, if that's your guys' game plan, like a Bartos, just come out and that's all they're going to do is literally just hug you. As a bettor, you know what you're betting on. It could be good, but, I mean, we're still fans, too, of the sport, so it's just incredibly frustrating and boring when you see somebody just go out there and continuously hug with no advancements or trying to finish it all. When you mean this fight, there's emphasis on finishing, and when you just want to hug, you get no fans for that. At least we know what you're all about, so next time we can go forward and bet accordingly. But yeah, incredibly frustrating fight. I was hoping Staropoli just fucking knocked him out for the display of just bitch making hugging.
So my pick for the fight was Dolidze, and I had him on my parlays, and I had him on many parlays, but I had him on my main parlay. I picked him in best bets segment, and so it was kind of a bittersweet thing because yes, I wanted him to win, but goddamn, that was boring, and he did nothing with any of those takedowns. He's talking shit as he's just literally hugging Staropoli the whole time. I didn't like that. That's not something that we like to see or encourage at all. So yeah, I want to see some more output for him. If he's going to use his wrestling like that, at least try to do some damage, man. Try to go for a submission. Try to get some ground and pound, and not just grab him against the gate and just hold. So I wasn't impressed with that, but he did get the win, and that is something I did anchor on my parlay. So I am glad that he got the W overall. But yeah, I just wish it would have been a little more impressive. Next one up the card was Walt Harris versus Tybura, and this one was quick, and it was kind of a tale of 2 minutes, really. I mean, because Harris come out banging, man, and he had him rocked, almost had him finished. He had him on wobbly feet, and then he gassed out, which is what he does, and then Tybura ended up getting him down and doing what he does and taking him out. That one was I would have liked to see a second round. But he ended up getting him out of there.
Yeah, this was one of my big ones. I thought, man, that Harris could get him out of there. Not a big ones, but I did sprinkle a little first round TKO for Harris on Tybura. And man, was it a bad bet? Not really. I mean, he almost did get him out of there at one point, but afterwards he just instantly gassed. And then as soon as he gassed, he threw a head kick, which almost got him taken down, and then he threw another low naked kick, and then that one got him taken down. And then from there, it was curtains. He got pounded on, almost like in a top crucifix position, and it was just all bad. He has no get-up game, and it seems like he's just a victim of these adrenaline dumps, because it wasn't like he was out there throwing 50-punch combos, trying to get him out of there. They were big strikes at one at a time, but as a pro fighter fighting at elevation, you training at elevation, you should be able to get off a little bit more. So I think he just has bad cases of adrenaline dumps, like a Shabazian type dude. And man, if he could just put that shit together, he does have a lot of power. He just can't get him out of there. He almost had Tybura out of there, but Tybura showed his chin. He's on a 5-fight winning streak, I believe now. Got a little resurgence going, so good for him. Not a hater of Tybura at all. Definitely like to see him fight. I like his style of fighting as well. So yeah, good on him. Can't hate on him, man.
Yes, sir. It was a pretty good fight. And next one up is the heavyweight main event, Rosenstrike versus Sakai. We were both on Rosenstrike on this fight, and it started off kind of what he normally does, just filling it out. Sakai didn't do much of nothing. He threw 14 punches in that first round, landed 3. Had 2 leg kicks, so he was just basically playing defense the whole time. He was circling around a lot. Once he got up against the cage, it was that's whenever you knew, okay, it's coming. Here comes Rosenstrike, and towards the end of that round, he started to really put it on him. And the punches that he finished him with, it didn't even look real clean, like he landed cleanly, but he split him. That just shows you the power that he has. Kind of like what he did to Overeem. Same type of thing. It just splits people open. But yeah, he showed that he's back. Getting back in that win column. That was something he really needed, especially after those couple lackluster performances he had.
Yeah, this one was man. I keep saying it every week. I'm not gonna bet on the overs and unders, but man, they look so good. But they look good for a reason because they're trapped sometimes. And on this one, I had the over 1.5, and I was 1 second away from the second round. And I really believed if that would have came through, we would have been cashed the ticket. But yeah, man, I didn't bet on Rosenstrike, but we did have him as a pure pick. It was a lot of just fainting, a lot of just, you know what I mean, it was really boring, to be honest. There was just not a whole lot of action. Like you said, he only threw 14 total strikes, but Rosenstrike only threw 29, landed 16. It was not a lot from both, man. And every time Sakai, like you said, would get backed up against the cage, he would exit the wrong way and not know how to defend himself doing it. And it was Rosenstrike downloaded that, and after a few times, adjusted with the left hook and pulled him into a right straight against the fence and knocked him out and had him, like you said, it didn't look like nothing bad, but when he got up, he was split in two different spots. So Rosenstrike's got that power, man. It wasn't a bad stoppage at all. I wish it would have went on longer. But yeah, that's just the name of the game sometimes, man. Did do a little sprinkle on Rosenstrike, first round knockout, just in case that parlay didn't hit, and got us a little money back, and so it wasn't a total loss, but still down on the night. But yeah, we'll regroup and make sure we do a lot of studying for next week. Really excited about next week's card.
Yeah, it was a fun card. It ended up working out. I mean, for most of our bets, like I said, all my parlays and my underdog hit. Too bad that Breeze fell out, because I really think that was a lock. I honestly do. So yeah, it worked out, man, and we're gonna be ready. We can't wait for this next fight. It's our hometown, man. It's Nate Diaz coming in there. He's gonna come in and get that sub against Leon.
Yeah,
that's what's coming. So yeah, we're gonna be ready for this one. Tune in. We'll try to have this up for you Tuesday or Wednesday. It's gonna be a big fight card. Check us out on Twitter. We'll have our Twitter names will be in the description below, and as well as our overall records and everything we've been doing. And on Twitter, we've been posting tickets and things that we've been hitting on, and not only MMA and other sports as well. Thanks for interacting. We like going back and forth in the comments, so please do so. Like and subscribe to the videos. We appreciate everybody listening.